Welcome back. Today we are going to be putting a scope on this brand new Weatherby Mark V Live Wild. It's chambered in 300 PRC. We're going to be putting a Maven C-Series scope on here. It's in 3 to 12 power, and we have the Warn 0 MOA scope rail and Warn rings to go on top. Nice thing about this rifle, it comes pre-tapped, just like most modern rifles do. It's got these little plugs in here. They just come right out. They're plastic. You're not going to be able to see that, but they just pop right out of the rifle. We're going to take the Warn rail mount. It's a Picatinny style. Open it upside down or all the screws will fall out. There's instructions in here. We want to make sure we follow these. It says we need a T15 wrench, and we're going to, Warn recommends torquing firmly to 25 pounds. So we have our torque screwdriver, we have our rail, and we have all of our screws. Get this last guy out of there. 4 screws and the torque wrench to begin all the threading. Take our rail, get it in position. Just make sure it's going the right way. You want to be able to read the numbers going forward. We're going to set it in there so it fits nice. Careful with your screws. You don't want to drop these bad boys. They'll end up everywhere. So I'm going to set them back in this little tray. I'm going to get ready to put the first one in place, just a little bit snug so it holds the rail on there. One thing you want to make sure is that in the back of this, there's a longer set of screws. In the front, there's a shorter set of screws. So the long ones will go in the back on this particular rail. And I'm just going to get a little bit snug in there. Careful you don't cross thread anything. Some people may want to put some sort of a pipe Loctite or some sort of thing to keep it snug in there, but it doesn't feel like it's going to need it, and I never have before on any of my other rifles, so I'm not going to on this one either. Get this in there, just hand tighten just a little bit. She's looking good already. Pretty nice, dude. Excited about this one. So what brought this on, you know, I've never killed anything with a rifle. And last year, I took my daughter out. She got a bear, and we did an episode on that briefly, but we haven't got into the details or anything like that. So she killed something with my rifle I've shot for the last, I don't know, long period of time, many years. And I probably bought it in like 2004. And after that, I was like, man, I can't shoot this rifle anymore. I got to let her have it. So it's basically become her rifle. And so I get to treat myself in a way. But I'm not going to hunt with this rifle this year either. I'm going to get it sighted in. My daughter's going to be elk hunting with it this year. So this particular rifle we have, we ordered with a 26-inch barrel. We have a little surprise coming with it. We have a Griffin Armament suppressor. It's going to be an 8-inch can. We're just waiting on the paperwork to come back, and we'll have it put on the front with an adapter. It's going to be pretty sweet, man. Can't wait for that. So now these are getting a tiny bit snug. They're not tightened down by any means, but they're just in it. This is actually pretty snug, dude. Like the way it fits in these threads, it's pretty snug. It's not like,
it's in there pretty good.
Yeah, it's not like when I felt like tightened before, because it's feels like they've already put something inside there, inside the threads.
Oh, like Loctite or something?
It could be some sort of something. Yeah. So now that I have those hand tightened, I'm going to take the torque screwdriver, I'm going to set this to 25 pounds. Make sure that you follow the manufacturer's recommendations. You could damage your rifle or your rail or strip something out. And I'm going to torque these down until it clicks. Here's one. It's two. So what's interesting is that it just won't over tighten. It stops. So you can't, it's just stopping right at 25 pounds. You can't get it any tighter than that. See that? There's 2, 3, and 4. So those are all torqued down to 25 pounds. For the next step, we're gonna get the rings in place on the scope and make sure that we level off the rifle. And we want to make sure that we're level from left to right. Then when we mount the scope, we'll make sure the scope is leveled from left to right. And that looks right. There's pretty good, right in between the hash marks. And you want to tighten this down. Okay, got that. I'm going to take this off for now. Now this scope is a fairly nice scope. We looked at this at the Sportsman Show last year. That's where we ended up picking it up. And we were just waiting for a reason to use it. We originally were going to do a comparison on another rifle we had with another scope. But now since this has come along, we're just going to mount it on this rifle. This is the CRS .1 3-12 by 40. Now I know this rifle is capable of shooting farther than I can shoot, so I wasn't going to get a telescope and put on top of this rifle. You know, I'm thinking if I get something in 600 yard range, that's good enough, and that's still going to be a poke. So this is going to go on top of here. Let me set this down and get my rings out. Now these have instructions as well. Yeah, it says to torque to 25 pounds as well. Okay, let me see. These Maxima rings, they're a simple design for a quick detach rings, offers the ability to remove the scope from the rifle and are guaranteed to return to zero when reattached. Maxima scope rings are simply the strongest, most durable scope rings available. Now, all that is said by Warren, and saying that, I have worn rings on all my rifles just because I like them. They seem like, of a lot of the rings I've seen, they seem like they're well machined, like they're stout ring. And I've never had any issues with any of my other rifles, scope movement or anything like that. I'm not 100% careful as I probably could be. So take that for what it's worth, but I've always used worn rings and mounts on all my rifles. I gotta make these a little bigger. I'm gonna take these rings apart real quick, being careful not to lose my little screws here, because everything is tiny on this thing. Now I'm going to start with the back ring first, and then I'll put the front ring on the rifle. Once everything's set, I'll make my adjustments for my eye relief and what's comfortable for me. But to get things started, I'm going to put these on here. Just like this. Okay, so that back ring is in place. Well, as soon as I get it in place. These are tiny, dude. Okay, there we go. Now this has a similar design as the rings. There's a longer screw and a shorter screw. The long one's going to go on the bottom of your ring mount, so it connects through to the other side. And then your short one will go on top. Okay, I leave these kind of loose, that way I can slide it onto the rail. You grab the other ring. Same thing. Gonna loosen all these, take them off, so you can mount it on the scope. Dave, you better do a really good job editing this video. Give me the short guys. Put them back in there. The long one is going to go in the back, or in the bottom rather. Okay. Make a quick adjustment here. Okay, one thing I like to do when I put my rings on my scope is make sure that the mechanisms are fastened on the same side of the scope. So if you're not paying attention, you might mount these on the opposite direction, so you have, you know, these screws will be on this side and one will be on the other side. I like to keep them on the same side so it's easy to work on the rifle. Okay, now I left these loose so I can get these on the rifle. They have those little keys in here. That's going to keep it locked into the Picatinny design here. It's going to mount in between here. Now I'm just going to put this on here, see what it looks like, and I'll adjust for my eye relief and everything. Once I get it mounted on the rifle, I'll be able to fine tune that. So this one's locked in position. And I'm going to change this one. I'm just leaving it here for now until I get this one where I want it. I don't really want anything above my bolt. That way it doesn't interfere with the action and the cartridge ejecting. So you can see this is above the bolt. I don't really like that. I want it to be out here. That way if my cartridge comes up, it doesn't hit this. And that way it doesn't get stuck in the chamber if I'm trying to reload. Let me go ahead and make this adjustment here. I'm going to release this one, slide it forward, and then I'm going to lock it back in here. Okay. I'm just tightening these ones barely, just a little snug, so the scope can still move, and I'm not in any sort of danger of marring the scope where I have to move it. There's a lot of threads still missing here. A lot of screws aren't even in. I'm just going to barely put these ones in there just so they're in place. They have a long way to go, so I can clearly tell that they're not seated inside the mounts here. But I want to make sure that I have them accounted for. And I'll tighten everything down at the same time. Put these in place. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take a check for my eye relief and then I'm going to remount the rifle, level the scope rail and the scope to the rifle. Let me grab my Scotch tape. Okay, now that our rifle is ready to be adjusted for eye relief, it's important to note, like, this rifle is brand new. It still has the tags on it. We've never chambered a round in it, but anytime you pick up a firearm, you should open the bolt, make sure there's nothing in the chamber, okay? You want to just be safe and give all safe firearm instructions. I'm going to check this for eye relief on myself. Okay, it looks a little bit forward. I'm going to bring it back a hair. Oh, it looks good right there. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Dang, that's good right out of the box almost. Okay. So I've set that scope back where I want it to be on the rifle for proper eye relief. And they have, you know, recommended eye relief and stuff. But I like to check my rifle for myself. So I'm just going to toss a little piece of tape on here, right on the edge of one of the rings where the rifle's at. That way, if it moves, I can tell like it needs to go back to my eye relief spot. If it moves 1 millimeter or something, I don't think it's going to be the game changer, but we want to make sure that it's in a good location. Tighten this back down a hair, and I'm going to put a level on it for our canting of left to right. Now this rifle, you know, it'll turn left and right. I just use these cheap, they're like inexpensive Wheeler levels, and I go on the rail and I level it out. That's good right there. And I use the same or a different level I put on the top. So we're getting our left to right. This needs to go a hair to the left. That's good right there. Just a smidgen more. Now, there's more scientific ways to do this, but I haven't found that I need to do it. And if I paid a guy, I'm sure they would do an excellent job. But for leveling this scope on here for the purposes I need, I think this is going to be adequate. Tighten these down, just hand tighten, and I'm going to get my torque screwdriver and torque these all down to 25 foot-pounds. See here. That's snug. Now these last ones I left out quite a ways. Okay, those are all good. You can see our bubbles level. Our rifle's been leveled. Our bubbles level on our scope. This is not going to move easily, and I'm going to torque these down 25 pound-feet. I'm just going to go kind of like an alternating pattern so I don't get one really tight and have it sitting funny. Okay, now they're all pretty snug. You know, you think about 25 pound-feet, and it's a pretty good amount of pressure. It doesn't seem like it would be that tight, but when you use a torque wrench, it's actually pretty dang tight. If you were to do this just by feel, you know, you could easily over tighten it, but you're probably more likely to under tighten it, because this pressure that you have to put on here to get to the 25 pound-feet or foot-pounds, it's actually quite a bit. It doesn't seem like it, but based off the number. But when you when you're applying the pressure, I mean, it's quite a bit. You have to give a little bit. It's not something you're going to be able to do with one hand very easily. Like, here's a one hand. And you see it takes quite a bit to do that. So, and probably part of that's holding it steady, but it is a lot of pressure. I'll just check these and make sure they're good. This one I didn't get to. Done. Done. Okay. So these are all down to 25 pound-feet. I'm going to check my rifle. Make sure that the eye relief is still good. I'm going to close the bolt since I've verified it. Oh yeah, that looks good. So there's the setup. This one's going to be used this year. My daughter's going to hunt with it for elk. Next time we bring this thing out, we're going to be at the range, and we'll be shooting targets at ranges up to 500. So we're going to see how it goes in the 300 PRC. We did a test fire on the trigger on this thing, and it is crisp, crisp, crisp. I mean, you're talking, I've never shot a trigger as crisp as this one. Ultra stiff and snap, break, and it's going to be exciting. So I can't wait to let her shoot it. More excited for when the suppressor comes, but when that does come, we're going to have a video for that too. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully if you didn't, you could teach me. So leave a comment in the box. Let us know what you think, and we'll see how this Maven does.